Section: Introduction. In this section, we describe the deep learning revolution as a shift in how computers see things. Before, we used specific features designed by people to help computers recognize patterns. Now, we let the computer learn these features directly from data. This change allows for more flexible and powerful systems that can handle a variety of visual tasks. Not only features but also the structures of models have built-in preferences. By reducing these preferences, we can create systems that work well across different tasks and types of data. For example, the transformer model was first used for language tasks but later proved effective for images, codes, and more. Unlike older models like conv-nets, the vision transformer, VIT, has fewer preferences specific to images. However, VIT still keeps some biases related to how it sees images. Our goal is to see if we can get rid of these biases completely. Surprisingly, we found that we can remove one of these biases, called locality. We did this by treating each pixel in an image as a separate piece of information for the transformer model. This approach, which we call pixel transformer, PIT, led to better results without the need for the traditional image grid structure. Our work challenges the idea that seeing nearby pixels together is crucial for visual tasks. We tested PIT in different scenarios, like object classification and image generation, and found that it performed well compared to models that rely on locality. While PIT may not be as practical as VIT due to computational demands, our findings suggest that locality is not always necessary for designing effective models. This insight could shape future developments in image processing architectures. Section Summary. In this section, we explore the evolution of inductive biases in deep learning for computer vision, emphasizing the shift from manually crafted features to modern features learned directly from data using predefined model architectures. We investigate the removal of the remaining inductive biases, particularly locality, in the vision transformer, VIT, architecture, leading to the development of the pixel transformer, PIT, that treats each pixel as a token. Surprisingly, PIT demonstrates improved performance without the locality bias, challenging the conventional belief that locality is a fundamental inductive bias for vision tasks and suggesting new directions for future model design in image processing. Section: Related work. In this section, we will discuss the related work that has influenced our research. We will highlight 4 key efforts in the field, starting with attempts to remove locality in conv-nets. One notable approach involved replacing spatial convolutional filters with 1x1 filters in a ResNet to enhance interpretability, but this led to a decrease in performance due to the lack of interpixel communication. In contrast, our work utilizes transformers, which excel in handling all-to-all communications through the self-attention mechanism, resulting in improved outcomes. Before the rise of vision transformers, VIT, the IGPT model was introduced to pre-train transformers on pixels, aiming for locality-free self-supervised pixel prediction. However, despite its costly demonstrations, IGPT fell short in performance compared to simpler pre-training methods like contrastive learning for ImageNet classification. VIT later reintroduced locality through patchification, achieving remarkable results across various benchmarks, including ImageNet. Another noteworthy architecture series, Perceiver, operates directly on pixels and employs latent transformers with cross-attention modules to address efficiency challenges with high-dimensional inputs. Although Perceiver aims to be modality agnostic, it has not gained as much traction as traditional transformers, known for their scalability in diverse domains. Through our pixel transformer, PIT, approach, we demonstrate that transformers can effectively process pixels directly, even with massive sequence lengths, showcasing the potential for extreme sequence length scaling. Moving on to the inductive bias of locality in mainstream architectures, we delve into conv-nets and VITs. In conv-nets, the locality bias is evident in the receptive fields of features computed in each network layer, where neighboring pixels hold more significance than distant ones. On the other hand, transformers initially appeared to be locality-free, but VIT incorporates designs like patchification and position embedding to retain some level of locality bias. Position embeddings, whether learned or fixed, can introduce locality biases by assuming that nearby tokens are more similar in the embedding space. VITs leverage position embeddings to capture the 2D grid structure of images, with options for interpolation to further exploit locality. In contrast to conv nets, VITs exhibit a less pronounced bias towards locality, and our work aims to eliminate this bias entirely through PIT. By applying the transformer architecture directly to an unordered set of pixels with learnable position embeddings, PIT removes the remaining locality bias in VIT. Conceptually, PIT can be seen as a simplified version of VIT, using 1x1 patches instead of 16x16. The transformer processes the input sequence to generate representations through a stack of layers, each containing self-attention and MLP blocks with residual connections. Our systematic analyses highlight the importance of resolution over locality in enhancing VIT performance. Section Summary. In this section, we discuss the historical context of efforts related to conv nets and transformers, highlighting the shift from locality-based conv nets to the more efficient and effective use of transformers in image processing. We explore the inductive bias of locality in mainstream architectures like conv nets and vision transformers, emphasizing how transformers, particularly in our pixel transformer PIT model, eliminate the bias towards locality by directly processing pixels as an unordered set, showcasing the potential for improved performance and scalability in image analysis. Section PIT. In this section, we will discuss how we treat pixels as tokens in computer vision tasks. The usual input for a network in computer vision is an image with RGB values. We represent this image as a set of pixels and project each pixel into a vector using a linear projection layer. These pixel vectors, along with a learnable CLS token and position embeddings, are then fed into a transformer to generate representations. By using pixels as tokens, we remove the bias towards local relationships and allow the model to learn spatial dependencies from the data itself. Treating pixels as tokens has advantages such as reducing the vocabulary size compared to patch-based approaches like VIT. However, this method can be computationally expensive for long sequences. Despite this drawback, with advancements in handling large sequence lengths, training models like PIT directly on all pixels may become feasible in the future. We conducted experiments to evaluate the effectiveness of PIT in 3 case studies: supervised learning, self-supervised learning with ME, and image generation with DIT. We tested 4 variants of PIT: tiny, small, base, large, and compared them to VIT baselines. Our results demonstrate that PIT can learn powerful vision representations without a bias towards locality. In our supervised learning study, we trained PIT from scratch without pre-training and compared it to VITs with 2x2 patch sizes. We observed trends in performance when varying patch sizes in VIT, highlighting the importance of input size and sequence length. Our findings suggest that PIT performs best when the input size is fixed and the patch size is decreased, emphasizing the significance of sequence length in achieving high accuracy. By analyzing attention maps and position embeddings from PIT, we gained insights into the model's learning process and effectiveness. Our study complements previous research by providing a comprehensive understanding of the impact of input size and patch size variations on model performance. Section Summary. In this section, we treat pixels as tokens in computer vision tasks, projecting each pixel into a vector and feeding them into a transformer to remove locality bias and enable modeling of arbitrarily sized images. By using pixels as tokens, we reduce the vocabulary size compared to patch-based methods like VIT, though this approach can be computationally expensive for long sequences. Our experiments demonstrate that PIT can learn strong vision representations without a bias towards locality, showing promise for future practical deployment. Section. Case Study Number 2. Self-Supervised Learning. In this section, we delved into Case Study Number 2, Self-Supervised Learning. We explored PIT with self-supervised pre-training followed by fine-tuning for supervised classification. Specifically, We opted for May because it is efficient, retaining only 25% of the sequence length for the encoder, and effective for fine-tuning evaluations. Our results, as depicted in the table, show that self-supervised pre-training with May enhances accuracy for PIT compared to training from scratch. This improvement holds true for both PIT-T and PIT-S models we tested. Interestingly, the gap between VIT and PIT widens with pre-training, especially when transitioning from tiny to small models, indicating that PIT may have better scalability potential than VIT. Moving on to case study number 3, image generation, we shifted our focus to using diffusion transformer, DIT, for image generation tasks. DIT features a modulation-based architecture different from the standard VIT and operates on the latent token space from VQGAN, reducing the input size by a factor of 8. For dataset considerations, we utilized ImageNet for class conditional generation, with images center cropped to 256 by 256 pixels, resulting in a 32 by 32 by 4 input feature map size, 4 representing the channel dimension. PIT-L was fed with this feature map, similar to its baseline DIT-L2 model. In terms of quantitative comparisons between DIT-L2 and PIT-L, we summarized the results in a table. Despite changes in the training recipe, our baseline DIT-L2 model achieved a competitive FID score of 8.90 without classifier-free guidance, outperforming a larger model, DIT-XL2, with longer training. When employing a classifier-free guidance of 1.5 with 250 sampling steps, PIT operating on the latent pixels surpassed the baseline on several metrics, FID, SFID, and IS, and performed equally well on precision, recall. With extended training, the performance gap further widened. This demonstration in image generation tasks showcases an important extension of PIT, highlighting its adaptability across different tasks, architectures, and input representations. Lastly, we revisited the VIT architecture to examine the significance of its two locality-related designs, position embedding and patchification. We discussed how pixel permutation can be highly detrimental in removing locality, while PIT successfully eliminates locality by treating individual pixels as tokens. We theorized that this success stems from PIT preserving translation equivariance by sharing transformer weights, unlike pixel shuffling, which compromises this inductive bias. This comparison underscores the importance of maintaining translation equivariance, especially after compromising locality.